I'm very happy to have with us an expert of an unusual kind, an expert who's self-taught and dabbles in the stock market. On top of it, he has another important qualification. He's my nephew. So let's listen to him. He's Rajat Hooja. Let's listen to Rajat. Over to you, Rajat.
Thank you, Professor Mathur, for inviting me on this talk. So let me start by giving a bit of background about myself. I studied economics in school and college and finally did my MA in economics from Delhi School of Economics. So by training, I'm an economist. I always was interested in the stock market. It always fascinated me that there is this arena where at that time, of course, you felt that you could make some money easily. Of course, later on you learn that there is no such thing as easy money. So while I was still pursuing my economics degrees, I began to study the stock markets. At that time, this is about 25 years ago. So mostly from books and all. But over time, I realized that while there is a connection between economics and the stock market, it's very tenuous at best. You can kind of think of it like this, that, like between a biologist and a medic with the army unit. Now, they both deal with the human body, but that's where the connection ends. So that's how economics and the stock markets are sort of connected, but not really. And in the very beginning, a very interesting observation, I had a very interesting observation. Professor Mathur would definitely know. There is a concept in economics which is treated very marginally, called Giffen goods.
Yeah.
Goods which when the price goes up, people actually want more of them. Now, this is something which you don't really find in the real world. But I realized that in the financial world, this seems to be the norm. That when the prices of stocks or commodities or houses or any financial asset, cryptocurrency, when it goes up, that's when the demand comes in. That's when the excitement starts. That's when people want to enter. So I realized that here the game is completely different. The more expensive it becomes, the more people want it. And over the years, so I began to realize that, okay, I need to look at the stock market from a very different perspective, not from an economic perspective, and let the economy be on the side, and let's just work on the stock market. And then there is one more economic theory, efficient market hypothesis. That markets are efficient. That is true, they are efficient, but only in the long run. They are not efficient minute to minute, day by day. In fact, you could say if you go back 50, 60 years, the markets were very inefficient. And with more data, computers, data crunching, more and more people, they have become more efficient. But even now, they are not efficient instantly. And also another thing that people need to understand is that prices reflect the opinions of all market participants. But all market participants are not equal, neither in financial capacity nor in research capacity. So by the time a small investor like me gets to know what is happening, it's already over. And this is what happens to most small investors. They enter towards the end of a trend. This, of course, connects to one more thing in the stock markets, that stock markets and most things in the financial world, in fact, even the economic world, are cyclical. Some have 30 or 40-year cycles, some have 6-month cycles, but there is a very strong sense. You can take an example of, there was a time when radio and automobiles, like in the 20s, were the thing. Then it was airlines, then it was medical devices, then it was IT equipment. Right now it's AI. These things go in circles. So, and small investors get trapped towards the end of these cycles, because that's when the mainstream media, everybody's doing it, all your friends are doing the same thing. It's like sort of a repeat of your college days, that everybody does it, so I'll also do it. So people end up buying, whether it be houses in the housing bubble of the 2000s in America, or the IT bubble before it, or crypto sometime back. Presently, it's AI. Nvidia is a household name. And then over the years, I also realized one more thing. There's this household name curse. Once something is a household name, it's like the last 5%. Everything's happened. It's over. And this is where the small investors always get beaten, because they get into the train just before it's about to derail. Sometimes it doesn't derail, it just slows down, but most times it derails. And they are left not only, let us say, in a bad investment, but they end up losing money. And then over the years, I realized that even in the US market, but definitely in Indian markets, there is still a lot of inside manipulation where there are laws, but the laws are regularly broken by people. And then the one more point that I began to understand was that psychology plays a very big role. In fact, stock market is basically about psychology. You have to understand your own psychology and you have to understand human psychology. And these things are not so complicated. In fact, there's a book, I forget the author's name. The title of that book is called Simple But Not Easy. And that, in my opinion, is the crux of making money in the stock market. It's simple but not easy, because the concepts are very simple. All these pundits which come on TV and give you all these complicated formulas and strategies and all this, they do it because if they told you that, oh, it's simple but not easy, you wouldn't pay them. You wouldn't give them your money. You wouldn't pay them fees. So, their business is to convince you that you can't do it yourself. And actually, it's not wrong. Most people cannot do it themselves. It is not something which is possible for a normal person to do, because it involves a lot of study of the technical aspects of businesses, economies, but that is just the base. Eventually, it is like if you are a sports person, learning to hit the ball or throw the ball or kick the ball is the basics. When you compete with other opponents, there are mind games, there is fitness level, there are all these kind of other aspects which come into it. Pressure situation, the match rides on one particular play or one particular shot. There, the game becomes different. And the same thing happens in stock markets. You can keep thinking and talking and studying all you like, but when money is on the line, then things become different. That is why when these financial gurus, they come and tell you, oh, initially don't trade with real money or don't invest real money, just do what they call paper trading. That doesn't help you, because it doesn't prepare you. It's like, I put you into a video game, and that will not get you ready for going into battle, because nobody's shooting back at you, right? So you know that this is a game. If I make goof up, I got n number, but that's different. So here, when money comes onto the line, then the whole psychological aspect comes into the picture, and that is where the real challenge lies. And another aspect that I feel, and this is one thing that I feel, that people who might be younger, who might be interested in this field, it would be very useful if people are able to have some sort of mentorship. Now, it's not necessary that it has to be a physical. In today's day and age, you don't actually have to do a mentorship with somebody physically. You can do it digitally. And in fact, they don't even have to know. There are many people on Twitter, on YouTube, who actually put out very informative and very useful stuff. And if you just follow them and follow what they tell you, please study like this, read like this, prepare yourself like this, plan and execute your strategy in a systematic manner rather than being haphazard all over the place, then your learning curve will be really excellent. This is one of the things I missed, things which I took maybe a decade to figure out. Because like in 2008, the global financial crisis happened, and I remember that I was discussing with my other colleagues that the subprime crisis in America is not contained. And here we had the Fed chair, Ben Bernanke, saying it's contained. I was wondering, why is he saying this? What is the purpose? Of course, it's not contained, because there are so many financial firms are all interlinked. There is no separation. If one goes, the other, then the other, and then finally it's who can trust. It's like, it's one of these very basic concepts. Let's say you put $100 in your bank. The bank gives the $100 out to me as a borrower. Now, some magic has happened, because your account shows you still have $100. My account also has $100. So out of thin air, Both of us now have $100 when originally there was only $100. Now there are 200. This game, this system of banking, technically fractional reserve banking, then nobody needs to know that term. Just that money is just created. But then if I can't give it back, then everything goes unravel and everything is connected. So if it's like a dominoes falling. So then over time you learn that, okay, this is more this is not like studying for for physics or chemistry or something like that, because you're basically trying to understand how other humans will react. Because at the end of the day, the public at large drives the stock market. The company can do, a company or an economy or a government can do anything, but the individuals with their money, they give, even the institutional money is eventually individual money. Individuals get their money from institutions get their money from individuals only, from endowments, whatever. So it's driven by human psychology. Behind everywhere there is a person. Even if it's Harvard's endowment committee, it's still a committee made of humans. So they will have their biases, and that will drive their decisions. Their decisions can be based on anything, but they will be still human decisions. Okay, even if you employ, nowadays a lot of companies, they use algo trading, they use algorithms and computers. But even there, we have so many documented examples that in crashes and panics, the human operators actually turned the algo off because they were too frightened that we are losing money. So again, that human element comes into the picture, and the processes, however robust, somebody is always there who may finally, or at the end of the day, if you are fine and you may have excellent systems, but if your clients panic and demand their money back, that's it. Your game's up. You cannot do anything about it. You have to give them the money, and that's it. And if everybody is wanting to pull their money out, which is what typically happens in crisis, then you cannot do anything. So in this, it is like it's the reverse of normal human activities. Here, you must always focus on the downside. Focus on the downside. The upside will take care of itself. And many of your viewers would be familiar with cricket, but some of them also might not be. But like what happens in cricket, as long as you don't get out, like in a test match, you can continue to make runs. But if you get out, game's over.
Yeah.
Right? And the same thing applies in the stock market. That as long as you don't get out, you don't get so badly trapped that you are financially have a big loss, or you are psychologically, let us say, destabilized, and you panic at the worst moment. So there's this Hindi thing, like stay in your limits. It's like apni auqat mein raho. It translates to stay in your limits. As long as you work, this is also very important. As long as you work within the limits of your financial capacity and don't get greedy, you will be able to steadily make money. But if you try to go for the jugular and in one shot only I'll make X or Y or 10X or whatever, then 2% or 1% people might make it, but 98 will not. And these stats are available. Recently, one of the leading stockbrokers in India, they released data of the last 5 years that 98% of their clients don't make money.
Right.
But the important part is the 2% they make. Now, nobody ever thinks about from money. Banks can create money, but individuals, if somebody is earning, somebody is losing. It's a very important point to understand. So those 2% are earning what the 98 are collectively losing. Actually, they are not earning, is money being transferred. It is actually similar to poker. Like, somebody loses so somebody can win. There's a saying in poker that if you go and sit down on a poker table and within 5 minutes you can't tell who the sucker is, then you are the sucker. You are the one who is going to be providing everybody with their winnings.
So what you're saying is that it's all a financial bet. And
yes,
implicitly there is a financial bet. And if you don't win, then it's your money that is being lost in the bet. In some form, it's not a direct bet, but it is in the end a financial bet.
Yes, in aggregate it is. It is not that, like in poker, it's very direct. You lose, that money goes to X. Here it is not known that you lost, but it went to somebody, right? It doesn't disappear.
No.
It goes to somebody. And that is how the system works, that 98% lose and 2% win. And that is why this is one of the most difficult fields, actually. And if you think about it, if you have to be in the top 2%, in any field, it's going to be difficult, right? It's not going to be easy. Being in the top 20 is difficult. Being in the top two though is extremely difficult.
Yes.
So you are really talking about being elite level to even make money. Not that you will not, even if you are in the top 20%, you may or may not make money. At max, you might break even. To make money, you have to be in the top 2%. So that's what makes it very challenging. And the lure of easy money is there, but this is the hardest kind of money there is that one can earn, because of the fact that people don't realize that who they are up against. It is like they don't understand that they are actually playing this, effectively they are playing poker, but with people they don't know.
Yeah.
Big institutions, big funds, they have the bigger bankroll, they have better access to information, better organizations, better let us say information processing capacities, and of course sometimes they outright cheat and they have insider information, which is illegal, but it happens. But even if they are going by the book and not breaking any rules, the bigger players have a huge advantage. The only advantage a smaller player has is that being smaller, right? Like just now, there's the example of that ship which crashed into the bridge in Baltimore. That big
Yeah.
cargo ship, right?
Yeah.
So now, if it was a small sailing boat, they could easily have avoided crashing. So that is the advantage. Like, I'm giving a little grotesque example, but because it's a tragedy, but that's how it is. Institution is like that ship; it can't change course easily. If something goes wrong, the calamity will be big. But a small investor or trader is like a small sailing boat. He can maneuver, he can stop, he can stall, and the damage will be less, and he's more nimble. So that advantage that the retail investor had against it's like the David Goliath thing actually. Your ability to be to change your mind and then be able to affect that change quickly across your portfolio is far greater than some fund which has got billions or nowadays even trillions invested. And if you have even let's say if you take an American market, if you have, let us say, 100 million, you can be fairly nimble, because the bigger funds have like hundreds of billions.
Right.
They can't be nimble. They need months to buy the amount of quantity they need to buy. They need days to sell. And most small investors can be in 10 minutes and out in 10 minutes. So this nimbleness is the advantage that small investors have, provided they have a good risk management system. Then that's it. And risk management, actually, which is a very boring topic, and most will fall asleep if you talk about risk management, is actually the key to it all.
Okay.
It's because what you have to do is you have to make sure that if, and they see, everybody will go wrong once in a while, right? And what you need to do is, when you go wrong, you need to lose very little. And when you go right, you need to make a lot of money. That way you can go wrong multiple times, but one right trade or investment will cover up for 10, 15 wrong trades, as long as you make sure with good risk management that the loss is small. So, lose less when you're wrong, because you will be wrong. See, most people, because of our academic system, are trained to try to not to be wrong. They try to go for higher percentage winning ratio, but that is not useful in stock trading. What is useful is, when you win, you must win big. And when you lose, you must try and lose small. Because it's not like an exam that if you get the question right, you will get 10 marks because it's of 10 marks. No, here you can get 100 marks also for one question.
Yeah.
And it is up to you to choose. Oh, this is like a flexible exam. Oh, this question I got wrong. Okay, -1. This question I got right, +10. So 5 times you get -1, it's -5. 1 time you get +10, you're suddenly up 5. So it all covers up. But the mentality and the desire to try to be right in percentage terms causes problems. And then another thing is that people are not, in a way, as a human race itself, we are not wired to think in terms of probability. We think in terms of this will happen, that will happen. It is very difficult for people to understand that something has a 40% probability. Now, what does this mean? What this means is that out of 10 times, 4 times this is likely to happen. Now, people take that 40%, oh, very simplistic way of thinking is below it is zero. It is zero. It can't happen.
Yeah.
One of a very famous example was this prediction by this, I forget the guy's name, in the Hillary Trump election, where he gave the 40% chance of Trump winning, which most people interpreted as zero. But
Yeah.
that is not the right way to think of 40%. 40% means that if this election was 100 times, then 40 times this result would come.
Yeah.
And 60 times that would come. That does not mean that it is zero. But
No.
so even if it is 10% probability, right, even that can happen. Right? This is the thing. Only one thing will happen eventually, but many things can happen. So this is the way of thinking about the stock markets, and many things can happen. In fact,
Yeah.
so many things past few years have shown us that things which were beyond imagination for most people, like COVID, like this Russia-Ukraine war. I mean, imagine there is a ground war happening in Europe,
Yeah.
and nuclear threats are being made on a daily basis. Right? Russia even attacked one of the nuclear reactors to try to get a dirty bomb go off. I mean, all sorts of things are happening. Ukraine fired off a missile at Poland to try to get the war to escalate. Things which we thought, okay, this has been left behind in the 1940s, but it's not. And then all of a sudden you have another crisis. And now imagine, think about it like this. Supposing someone came and told you, we're going to have massive inflation, we're going to have war in Ukraine, we're going to have shortages of this, that, whatnot, and there's also going to be a war in Israel. What do you think the market will do? Oh, it will crash. But actually, it's completely reverse. It's at all-time high. Everything's at all-time high. Crypto is at all-time high. Gold is at all-time high. Nasdaq is at all-time high. S&P is all-time high. So even if someone told you from time travel that, Professor Mathur, this is what 2024 is going to bring, you would have said, hey, sell everything. This is a logical way of thinking, that this is so bad, sell everything. And what is actually happening? Everything is at all-time high. So even if you knew the future, what people miss, what they are missing is the reaction of other people. People are used to this linear link. Oh, this is the future, this is what will the result. But that is not how everybody reacted. And it is the reaction of the people. It's like this. Keynes made this very famous remark that it's like you go to a beauty contest, and you are not being asked to tell that who is the most beautiful. You are being asked to judge who everybody else will find the most beautiful.
Right.
So you are actually, like, if you want to judge the result of the beauty contest, you should not be looking at the contestants, but actually you should be focused only on the judges. Right? But that is not how people operate in real life. Right? They operate in, like, in this beauty contest example, are looking at the contestants rather than the judges. But the judges are going to decide. So what you have to do is you have to figure out what the judges are going to do, not what the contestants are doing. Right? So these are the few things which I learned over the years. I have read many books, read them multiple times, and a lot of experience goes into it. And of course, it is true that just like all other fields, it does not come by easily. You lose money a couple of times. Then first stage is that you lose money. Second stage is that you make money, but then you lose it. Okay, it's called round tripping. Up the roller coaster and down the roller coaster. So it's like, but you're no longer losing money, but you make and you lose. So it's like, okay, nothing in your pocket. Then the next stage comes is when you actually start making some money. And then the final stage comes is when you start making large amounts. Okay. Because you are able to understand that the environment is good. And this right now is the time to bet bold and big, because the odds are in my favor. And right now, other time situation may be right now is not the time to play. So it's actually it's like, look at how Warren Buffett operates. He is inactive for 6, 7, 8 years, does nothing almost. He does something, he does some buying and selling, but considering the size of his firm, it's like very little, like 4%, 5%. And then in big crisis, like in 2008 crisis, he's suddenly deploying 20, 30, 40% of his funds, and then nothing for the next 6, 7 years, because he knows that only at these moments is the opportunity. It's like you can't do it every day. It's not. It's like there. It's like they are. It's like a season. If you want to have a want to, you have to wait for spring. Then only flowers will bloom. You can't decide that, oh, today I want to have flowers, even though it is the middle of winter, and you decide and go and start working in your yard and start digging. Nothing will happen. You'll only get tired, probably fall ill, and leave away disappointed. So you have to wait for the right time, and you must conserve your mental energy, concentration, study. Study happens throughout the year. You study throughout the year, but you wait. You wait for the opportunistic time. You keep your capital free. You don't block it up in silly, time pass activities, small ventures here and there, and you wait for the right moment. And then when you feel is the right moment, you try and capitalize on it in a big way. But of course, you must be always cognizant that this is your assessment only. It is not some surety. So you have to be clear that, okay, what am I putting on the line? What is my expected gain? And then, what will I lose if things start going wrongly? And more importantly, how will I know that my thesis is not panning out? This all must be thought of beforehand. It is sort of like military planning. Military planning has to be done long before the war starts. Because once the war starts, there is a lot of excitement, tension, stress, pressure, the need to deal with immediate crisis. So it is possible to forget the basic plan. It happened in the US Civil War that eventually the North won with a strategy which they had originally figured out. But for the first 2 years, they just went here and there like a grasshopper, containing threats here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there, and forgot that this is not going to lead to results. It is going to just lead to further extension of the war. So, but it's part of human nature. It is part of human nature that what you have decided with a cool, calm mind and very purposefully and thoughtfully you have come out with a strategy, there are very high chances that when the action happens, you can forget it and do something else. Start dealing with some immediate problems. And this is the difference between the great investors and the normal investors. And the great investors, they bide their time, they wait. There's a saying, buy when the blood is on the streets. They wait for this time. They wait for this time. That when the blood is on the street, when everybody is shouting, screaming that no, this is too much, we can't take it anymore, the whole world is ended. Because as Buffett says, that if the world is ending, then money will not have any use. So I want to buy when the world appears to be ending. Because that is when I will get the cheapest prices. Because if it actually ends, then money will not have any use. It's like COVID. If COVID actually kills the humanity, then money will have no use. Right? So now the markets have crashed because of COVID. Now, if COVID totally destroys humanity or damages humanity in a very, very large way, let us say, killing off half the population of the world or something like that, or lockdown just go on for 7, 8 years, then money will have no value, everything will be finished. So no need to worry about these things. That is a time when you need to buy, because what if things don't turn out to be as bad as everybody is? This is the reverse. Sometimes, and right now in AI, it's the other way around. Everybody expects a glorious future. And what if they don't turn out to be as great? And even if AI turns out to be as great, I give the example of the airline industry. Airline industry was a revolutionary thing in the world. It changed the world. Everything that its proponent said that airline industry can do, it did. But everyone lost money. So being right about a future trend, this is one more confusion people have. They guess the future trend, But that may not be the way to make money,
Right.
because maybe, let us say, 100x is likely to happen, just for example. But prices are expecting 500x. Now, because expectation is 500x and 100x happens, there will actually be disappointment.
Yes.
Instead of beating expectations, there will be disappointment. So while the world has been changed by 100x, expectation was for 500x. So you will be loser. And sometimes the other thing way around happens. People expect nothing will happen, and they are not willing to even bet for one exchange, and the 5x change happens, and everybody is surprised. And that is where one makes.
Okay.
So this is my learning of the stock market. To sum up, it's a psychological field. It's a question of controlling your emotions. Of course, you need some basic technical and fundamental knowledge, but the basic knowledge of things is required. But after that, it's mainly controlling your emotions, and also reading the emotions of the other participant, because they are actually also players in the
yeah.
arena.
Okay.
They are like the beauty contest judges. So you need to see what they are doing, and you can think of the companies like the beauty contestants. So you can see the companies, but superficially pay attention to what the judges are doing.
Yeah.
That will get you the real success.
Okay.
So
Well,
this is the story
yeah. So what
of,
you're saying is be careful to not lose money in a big way.
yes,
Hope to make some big ones, and be in it with studious and long run. The long run is the
yes,
only way to make money. You can't just think that it will be this one big thing. You have to be careful and wait for the right opportunity.
yes. You have to
Okay.
wait for the Rajab.
Okay. Wonderful. Any tips for younger people?
Well, the basic tip is that any kind of success in life is not easy. It will require a lot of hard work, or it will require a lot of discipline. Actually, that is the key ingredient, discipline.
Mhm.
That is a key ingredient, discipline. If you are disciplined, then you will achieve a lot. And if you are not, you will achieve not much. This is the
Okay.
key basic. And it's
Okay.
a very boring and 1,000-year-old advice. But that's what it is. If you are disciplined, if you stick to a well thought out strategy many people can provide you.
Yeah.
Guidance many, like today we take the example of YouTube. All the things you need to want, if you want to learn anything in the world, tutorials are available for free. What do you have to provide? The discipline.
Yeah.
If you want to, you have to provide the discipline. If you don't provide the discipline, you can't pick it up, even
No.
though they are providing it free,
Yeah.
right? You have to pay money, but now it's for free. But what is your input is discipline. So if this input is there, then anything can be done. And also, at a particular point of time, you may have certain capabilities, right? Now, try to understand that at this point of time, you are capable of achieving only X.
Yeah.
So you don't try to go for 2X right away. You
Yeah.
try to first improve your own, like in the video games, they call leveling up. You
Yeah.
level up.
Yeah.
So you need to, if you want to go for a bigger achievement, you need to first level up. Right. But till the time you have not leveled up, don't try to take on that bigger task.
Okay.
Chew the small, take a small bite, get it through. You can't just suddenly, like, if somebody wants to lose weight, they can't lose like 30 kgs in a year or just like that. No, they need to first do the first thing on the first day. Today I will not drink soda, and I will not have that ice cream. And then maybe their mind is not yet capable of even
Yeah.
doing that much. So first they need to do that, then they need to upgrade their mental strength. And once they upgrade their mental strength, then they can go on to the next.
So you can't be a stock market crorepati by the time you are 30 years old.
No, you can be, and many people have become.
Okay.
Many people have become.
Okay.
They started when they were in their teens, and they
Okay.
have become. There is this US investing championship which is held in America every year,
Yeah.
and many of the winners are 24, 25-year-olds. But
Okay.
if you talk to them, and I've seen their videos, their maturity levels are higher than many 50-year-olds.
Okay.
They have grasp all those things in a short time frame.
So they must be putting in
Yes.
10, 12 hours a day.
No, it is not just about hours. Actually, they have not just grasped the technical skills, they have grasped the discipline.
Okay.
If they don't see anything which they feel is a favorable thing to do, they don't do.
Okay.
They sit out.
Yeah.
They are not driven by the need to do something. Oh, there's this George Bernard Shaw saying no, that all of man's troubles are from this inability to sit quietly in a room and do nothing. So I think they have mastered this, that they can sit quietly in a room and do nothing.
Okay.
And this is a skill which doesn't require 10, 20 hours. This requires, I don't know what it requires. It
Yeah.
requires something else. But this is a skill that people need to learn. When there is nothing to be done, don't do anything.
Okay. All
Our
right.
society is very action oriented. Do this, do meetings, do networking, do this, do that. But sometimes there's nothing to be done.
Right.
So we can.
Well, the electricity failed in Jaipur. It happens. And Rajat
Yeah,
has
it's
put up an ad hoc system of some lights on his face. So let's continue, Rajat, and let's end it before your flashlight dies.
So I would also just like to say that, well, I have talked a lot about the stock markets and discipline and extra wider, but I also want to say that it is also necessary with all this to have some like interesting hobbies to keep your mind light, and also have some kind of sporting. It's like one activity to make money, one activity to keep you fit, and one activity to keep you mentally stimulated.
Okay.
Right. So these three things are necessary. So like I do bird watching as a hobby and bird photography also. So that's my like relaxation, and it makes I go to many exotic locations, only in India basically. But yeah, it's fun. You are in nature. You are enjoying yourself. There's some level of physical activity also. You're going to these remote locations. Sometimes you have to climb up the hill or climb down into a valley or walk. So that is also very important, not just all work and brains and thinking. Some kind of stimulating hobby, and something which where you are doing to keep yourself physically fit, because that is also all part of the like proper mindset. Only if you are physically fit, and also what is the point if you like earn a lot of money but you are not fit enough and you can't enjoy it, and the doctor says, no, you can't eat this and you can't drink that, and that's it. There's no use for that. No? I don't know if you've seen all these videos of these chaps who end up buying Ferraris and Porsches and Lamborghinis in their 60s and 70s, and that's when they finally made it and they buy this luxury car, and there are these hilarious videos of them taking these deliveries in dealership and sort of crawling out of the car because they can't walk that much. So what is the purpose?
Yeah.
There's no purpose in this. No? So you must be yes, and one more thing which is kind of connected to Hindu philosophy. Oh, the light also has come back. That
Okay.
you must also find some kind of contentment, because if you don't find contentment, then you will just go crazy. You will never be satisfied. So you must find contentment, and if you're working in the stock markets purely to make money, you'll never make money in the stock markets. You must enjoy that process. Like I enjoy the process. For me, it's not work at all. Right? I think about the markets almost all my waking hours, and it's not work for me at all. It's not work. I enjoy it. If you told me I can't do it, I'll be frustrated. Saturday, Sundays, the markets are closed. So I spend my time thinking, reading everything, and it doesn't appear like work to me at all. So if
Okay.
you're enjoying what you're doing, then it's not work actually, right? And if you get paid to also in the process of enjoying what you're doing, then that's like, then only there, and also there must be contentment. That okay, I have done this much, now I'll chill. There's no, this continuous, which is now today in modern society, there's a continuous rat race till you're dead. You're just running and running and running, and there is no satisfaction of any kind. So that is also, in fact, I would say that is the most important thing.
Okay.
If you cannot find, and when you are young, and I can say from personal experience that as when you are young, you are not at all contented. You are very much restless and ambitious and full of all ideas. But the faster in life you figure out that yes, at some stage we have to say this is enough,
Okay.
then that is, you will be, you can be satisfied, and then if you're satisfied, then you'll be happy.
Okay.
If you're not satisfied, then you'll not be happy. And you'll always be running behind things, buying the new iPhone, some vacation, this, that, but you'll not be mentally at ease. And since you're not mentally at ease, you'll not know, you'll go on to some prescription drugs, you're visiting your doctor, but nothing will come out of it. So this is also so discipline, satisfaction. These are the two mental attributes which are most important. One has to be
Okay.
very disciplined. This is possible, but one can only enjoy success if one is content. One
Yeah.
is not contented, can't enjoy success. And
Okay.
of course, health. Then health, and after what I mean to say that after a certain age, of course, everybody health goes, but before time it goes because
Yeah.
of habits and all things. Then all success is useless.
True.
So this is my take on the stock markets and perhaps life in
Life.
general.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Rajat. That
yeah,
is
with that, like
very
in case
helpful to, you're a seasoned stock market
thank
person
you,
by now.
thank you. I really enjoyed.
And let's see what happens to you. Maybe we catch up in a year, see where you are, what you think. And let's end this for today. I'll be back with another expert or young person soon. And bye to everybody. Bye.